Unfortunately, it happens. Even though millions of people are on the national Do Not Call Registry, they still get unwanted phone calls from telemarketers and computerized robocalls. But there is a way to stop them. This $40 call blocker by Sentry answers the home phone automatically and only lets callers through it if they press 1, something a robocaller can't do.
I just forewarn anybody that I know that's calling that they're going to get that message.
Laura says she's now stopped getting calls from telemarketers too, something the Do Not Call list wasn't able to do. Now, here are some things to keep in mind. The registry only applies to calls coming from outside of your state, so in some states, local telemarketers may not be breaking the law. There are many products intended to block all the other unwanted calls. Anonymous call rejection is free. Just dial *77 from your landline to block calls from blocked numbers. And for unwanted calls to your cell phone, turn to apps. Privacy Star screens calls and rates them red, yellow, or green based on the calling activity and complaint history. Then there's No Mo Robo. This free service screens out illegal robocallers and telemarketers, but only works if you get your phone service through your cable provider.
Well, another call that I feel it's pretty safe in saying we all want to avoid is one from the IRS, and even more than that, a call from a fake IRS agent. Unfortunately, these calls are nothing new. As a matter of fact, we just warned you of a new batch of them circulating in Delaware just last week, and there are still people falling victim to the scams. A move proving detrimental to taxpayers.
For the first couple of seconds, there was definitely a moment of panic. Well, what, I'm in trouble with the IRS, and because it's possible. I mean, who knows?
But when the caller began asking for personal information and payments, Oliver knew something wasn't right.
The information that's already in my head kicked in and went, okay, well, that's not likely, it's not possible.
Tax preparer Kathy Blood says she and many of her clients have also received the calls, which give a similar scenario each time.
They said the sheriff would be here within 24 hours to pick me up. And I said, well, what do I do to take care of this? And he gave me this other number to call and make my payment arrangements.
We also have noticed that it tends to be the elderly people that are calling us. We're glad they're calling us. They're doing the right thing.
IRS officials say should they need to contact you, it'll be in writing.
We are going to send you a letter through the mail. We will not call you. We will not email you about your taxes.
Michael Vine says it's important to never give out personal information to these scam callers who are often aggressive and threatening.
It scares you, and we just want everyone to know it is a scam.
Kathy Blood hopes the calls will one day come to an end. Until then, she's developed her own tactic on how to respond.
Mr. Foster got to meet Mr. Whistle, and I blew the whistle in the phone. And needless to say, he hung up automatically.
Now, according to the U.S. Treasury Inspector General, there have been nearly 300,000 fraud contacts made since October of 2011. Nearly 3,000 victims have collectively paid over $14 million thanks to the scam. If you know you don't owe taxes and you have no reason to believe that you do, report the incident to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration at 800-366-4484. Or you can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.com.
Now, when it comes to safely filing your taxes, you can now officially file. But there are some major changes that will affect your tax return this year, and it's all because of the Affordable Care Act. For the first time in decades, there's major changes in tax rules, and it's all because of the Affordable Care Act. And at H&R Block, they're already gearing up for an influx in people and even longer lines.
We've hired additional employees this year. We're staffing the offices accordingly.
This year, folks will be required to include health care information in order to file their tax returns. And H&R Block's Doris Allen, who is certified in the new ACA laws, says that's important because it will affect how much you do or don't get back from Uncle Sam.
Trust me, not everybody's going to get a penalty. It's not always about the penalty, but it's about what do I qualify for?
If you signed up for Obamacare last year, you need this, the 1095A form. And Allen says that will provide vital information about what you did through the exchange.
For example, if you qualified to get some reimbursements, did you take those reimbursements toward the premium of the insurance? And if you did you overpay? And if you overpaid, you get some of that money back?
And if you didn't go through the healthcare marketplace, Alan says you still need to have your healthcare documentation to prove you have health insurance.
The independent providers, the employer providers and the other independent healthcare, it's a different story. With them is, did you have it? How long did you have it? Who had it?
Alan admits it's as much a learning curve for tax pros as it will be for you, and her advice is be patient.
Once you get the information and you start looking back at it, it really is a very simple process.
And if you didn't have insurance at all this past tax year, be prepared to pay the penalty, which is either 1% of your yearly household income or $95 per person or $47 to $50 per child under 18, whichever comes out higher. And you want to see how much that fee will be, or to learn more about the Affordable Care Act and to get the forms, we have the link on our website, WBOC.com. Click on our picture at the top of the page.
If paper filing's the way for you, you could be left waiting for your return. The IRS is warning of delays up to an extra week or more. The reason? Budget cuts. And if you have a question or an issue leading to additional review, that too will be delayed. Just last month, lawmakers approved the smallest IRS budget since 2008. So do the math. Less money means fewer full-time employees. Collection efforts and audits may also be affected. Don't go anywhere. Delmarva Live. We'll be back in just a moment.